Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 5. The Cause of All Causes. Text 1. Narada Uvacha. Deva Deva Namastestu Bhuta Bhavena Purvaja Tadvijanihi Yajnam Jnanam Atma Tattva Nidarshanam.
Hare Krishna. Sri Narad Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief among the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me the transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the supersoul.
Text 2. Yadrupam yad adishtanam yatashashtam idam prabho yad samstam yad param yakcha tattavam vada tattvataha.
My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done?
Text 3. Sarvam hayetat bhavan veda bhuta bhavya bhavat prabhu karamalaka vat vishwam vignavasetam tava.
My dear father, all this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as anything within the universe, is within your grip just like a walnut.
Text 4. Yad vignano yad adaro yad parastvam yad atmakaha ekasrajashi bhutani bhutarevatma mayaya.
My dear father, what is the source of a knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy?
Text 5. Atma bhavayasyetani na prabhavyayan swayam atma shaktim avastyabhya unarabir ivaklamaha.
As the spider very easily creates a network of its cobwebs and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without any other's help.
Text 6. Naham veda param hayasmin na param na samam vibhu namarupa gunarbhavyam sad asad kinchid anyataha.
Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal or temporary, is not created from any source other than that of your Lordship, thou so great.
Text 7. Sabhavan acharad goram yat tapasu sam ahita tena khedasya nasvam parasankam chayakchashi.
Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you think when we think of your great austerities in perfect discipline, although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation.
Text 8. Itan me prachata sarvam sarvagyan sakaleshwara Viknahi yathe vedam aham buddhye nusasita.
My dear Father, you know everything and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me so that I may be able to understand it as your student.
Text 9. Brahma vacha samyak karunigashyedam vatsate vichikitsitam yat aham jodita somya bhagavad virya darshane.
Lord Brahma said, my dear boy Narad, being merciful to all, including me, you have asked all these questions because I've been inspired to see into the prowess of the Almighty Personality of Godhead.
Text 10. Nandratam tva takchapi yatha mam prabhavishi yatha mam prabhavisi boha avignaya paramata etat etavatvam yato hime.
Whatever you've spoken about me is not false because unless and until one is aware of the personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate truth beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities.
Text 11. Yana swarocisha vishvam rochitam rochayami aham yathar kognar yatha somo yatharksha graha tarakaha.
I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence known as the Brahma Jyotir, just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness.
Text 12. Tasmai namo bhagavate vasudeva dhimahi yanmayaye durayaye mam vedanti jagat guru.
I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna Vasudev, the personality of Godhead whose invincible potency influences them, the less intelligent class of men, to call me the superior controller.
Text 13. Vilajamanaya yasya statum iksha pathe muya vimutta vekathante mamaham iti durdiya.
The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of it is I and it is mine.
Text 14. Dravyam karma chakalascha swabhava jiva eva cha vasudevat paro brahman najanyoratosti tatvata.
The five elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof, set up by the eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead, Vasudev, and in truth, there is no other value in them.
Text 15. Narayana Paraveda Deva Narayanan Gajaha Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramakaha.
The Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as parts of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and the different sacrifices are performed just to please him.
Text 16. Narayana Paro Yogo Narayana Param Tapaha Narayana Param Jnanam Narayana Paragatahi.
All different types of meditation or mysticism are means for realizing Narayana. All austerities are aimed at achieving Narayana. Culture of transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayana and ultimately salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayan.
Text 17. Tasya pitashtur ishasya kutastasya khilatmanaha shrijam yam shrijami shastoham ikshayeva bijoditaha.
Inspired by him only, I discovered what is already created by him, Narayan, under his vision as the all-pervading supersoul, and I also am created by him only.
Text 18. Sattvam rajastama iti nirgunasya gunastrayaha Sthiti sarga nirodeshu grihita mayaya vibho.
The Supreme Lord is pure, spiritual form, transcendental to all material qualities, yet, for the sake of the creation of the material world and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy the material modes of nature, called goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Text 19. Karya karana kartratva dravya jnana kriyashrayaha Padnanti nityada muktam mayinam purusham gunaha.
These three modes of material nature, being further manifested as matter, knowledge, and activities, put the eternally transcendental living entity under the conditions of cause and effect and make him responsible for such activities.
Text 20. The Isha Bhagavad Lingas Tripiritar Adosajaha Swalakshita Gati Brahman Sarvesham Mamajeshwaraha.
O Brahmana Narada, the superseer, the transcendental Lord, is beyond the perception of the material senses of the living entities because of the above mentioned three modes of nature. But he is the controller of everyone, including me. Hare Krishna. Thanks,
Hare
Shabani Mataji,
Krishna.
for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glory to Shri.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to today's chat session. Today we'll be starting a new chapter, chapter number 5, entitled The Cause of All Causes. So today is the memorial for Shruti Dharma Prabhu. Yeah, actually, yesterday I think was his actual disappearance day. So we'd like to dedicate today's session to Shruti Dharma Prabhu, who is such a beacon and foundation at Bhaktivedanta Manor, where most of us go to as our place of worship. So thank you, Matajis, again for your recitation. So we'll start off by reciting the Mangala Charanam prayers. Please feel free to join in, be unmuted mics. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutidevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschcha Deshatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, chapter number 5, canto number 2. Chapter is entitled The Cause of All Causes. Just to put this chapter into context. So, Maharaj Parikshit is about to leave his body. He's got 7 days. He asks Shukdev Goswami what is the duty of one who is about to die. What should he hear about? What should he speak about? Who should he remember? And who should he worship? And Shukdev Goswami's response is unequivocal. That the duty of one who is about to die is to constantly hear about and chant about the glories of the all-good personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So, interestingly, Maharaj Parikshit is very eager to hear, and is well aware that there is the Leela of the Lord associated with the material world, and then there's the Leela of the Lord associated with the spiritual world. So Maharaj Parikshit, setting the right example, he requests Shukdev Goswami to speak about the Leela of the Lord in relation to the material world. And Parikshit Maharaj asks Shukdev Goswami some very particular questions in the 4th chapter. In verses 6 to 7, he asks, how does the Lord create, maintain, and destroy his universe? How does he enact primary and secondary creations? Someone's asked me to share my screen. Yes, and then the next question was, the Lord's activities are wonderful and inconceivable. Please describe them. How does the Lord expand himself? And so on. And Shukdev Goswami said, in response, actually, all of the questions that you've asked me are very similar in nature to the questions that Narada previously asked Lord Brahma, known as the Brahma Narad Samvada. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, I'll quote that discussion to you. I'll recite and narrate that discussion between Sri Narada and Brahmaji. And you will get all your questions answered by listening to this discussion. So this is how we will proceed with this chapter. This chapter, the first 8 verses are all to do with Narada's questions, his convictions, and his doubts. And verses 9 to 13 is Lord Brahma clarifying Narada's false convictions. And then the later part of the chapter, he goes question by question, he answers each of them. And he also differentiates who he is, Brahma Tattva against Vishnu Tattva. And finally concludes with a description of the Virat Rupa. So it's quite a lengthy chapter, 42 verses in total, but very interesting. We may have the tendency to not pay too much attention to such subject matters, but we should not make that mistake. We should follow in the footsteps, Mahajena Yata Sagata Sapanta. We should follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans and see how they progress in their spiritual life. So let's proceed with text number 1. Narada Uvacha Deva Deva Namastestu Bhuta Bhavana Purvaja Tadvidya Nihi Yat Jnanam Atma Tattva Nidharshanam. Word for word synonyms. Narada Uvacha. Shri Narada said, Deva, of all demigods, Deva, the demigod, Namaha, obeisances, Te, unto you as, Astu, are, Bhuta Bhavana, the generator of all living beings, Purvaja, the firstborn, Tadvigyanihi, Vijhanihi, Tadvijanihi. Please explain that knowledge. Yat Jnanam, which knowledge? Atma Tattva, transcendental. Nidharshanam, specifically directs. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Narada asked Brahmaji, O chief among the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the supersoul. Purport. The perfection of the Parampara system, or the path of disciplic succession, is further confirmed. In the previous chapter, it has been established that Brahmaji, the firstborn living entity, received knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord, and the same knowledge was imparted to Narada, the next disciple. Narada asked to receive the knowledge, and Brahmaji imparted it upon being asked. Therefore, asking for transcendental knowledge from the right person and receiving it properly is the regulation of the disciplic succession. This process is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 4:2. This verse many of you all know. Evam parampara praptam imam rajasayu vidu sakaleneha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. The inquisitive student must approach a qualified spiritual master to receive transcendental knowledge by surrender, submissive inquiries, and service. Knowledge received by submissive inquiries and service is more effective than knowledge received in exchange for money. A spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from Brahma and Narada has no demand for dollars and cents. A bona fide student has to satisfy him by sincere service to obtain knowledge of the relation and nature of the individual soul and the supersoul. So Srila Prabhupada is focusing on the Parampara system that Shukdev Goswami is quoting. Prabhupada says, for the proper transmission of knowledge, there has to be three elements. There has to be surrender by the student. There has to be submissive inquiries by the student. And there has to be service. These are essential ingredients for the proper transmission of knowledge. And one approaches the spiritual master in this mood. Total surrender. Prabhupada says one should approach the spiritual master considering oneself a complete fool. One should submissive inquiries and one should render service. And we see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. He teaches by example. When he came as his Swayam Bhagavan feature, he went to the ashram of Sandipani Muni. He acted in full surrender, inquiring very submissively and rendering service. And the same with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ishvara Puri told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are a fool. You're a fool, you don't know anything. You just chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and you will achieve perfection. And although Mahaprabhu previously as Nimai Pandit, he was such a great scholar that he defeated, some of the great scholars of his time. When his guru told him he's a fool, he accepted, I'm a fool. His guru told him, simply chant the Hare Krishna mantra, he accepted. And he served his spiritual master. So Prabhupada quotes one famous story between a famous guru and his disciple. I won't quote names, but they're very famous, and some of you will know who I'm speaking about. Once the student asked the master, please transmit knowledge to me. And the master touched the student and said, I'm giving. And after that, the master fainted. And the student asked the master later, why did you faint? He said, oh, when I transmitted knowledge to you, I lost everything and I became weak. Prabhupada said this science of transmitting knowledge is not like that. The master transmits knowledge and the master does not become bereft of any knowledge. So this is what Srila Prabhupada thought, and this is what we should apply always. Always never challenge, inquire submissively, and always add service. Once there is a story, I think I said it previously, one famous scholar came to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and he had many questions. And he was hoping that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would answer his questions. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, sure. But first you go to the kitchen. And there you will find my students. So you spend some time with them, and then later you come back to me, I'll answer your question. So the scholar was bewildered. He's thinking to himself, what is this all about? I've come to the master to ask questions, and now he's sending me to the kitchen. And when he went to the kitchen, he saw the master's students were there, and they were busy in their service. And they said, your master sent me here, but I don't know why he sent me here. What should I do? And they said, well, I think you should help wash the pots. And when he looked, there were so many pots, but he said, okay, I'll do. And then he started to submissively wash the pots. And something miraculous started to happen. As he was washing the pots, answers to all these various questions started to manifest in his mind. And after he finished his service, he went back to see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, so, that's good, you've come back. So, what are your questions? And then he very submissively said, actually, I don't know what happened, but all my questions got answered while I was washing the pots. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur nodded. He said, yes, that is the process. That is the process. So we understand that spiritual knowledge is never achieved, it's received. And when the spiritual teachers are pleased with us, that knowledge will be given to us or revealed to us. And it seems like a very simple thing that we're discussing here. We've heard it so many times. We've spoken about it so many times. But it's actually something very deep and something very profound. It's a mystical process. And Srila Prabhupada makes the point in the purport that this submissive inquiry and service is far more effective than knowledge received in exchange for money. Some people think that if they offer a spiritual teacher vast amounts of money, they'll be more liberal in giving them more knowledge. But it's the complete opposite. No amount of dollars and Prabhupada says cents here or pounds will be able to buy us knowledge. This knowledge can only be achieved through service, submission, and inquiry. And you can see how Narada is approaching Brahmaji. He says, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. He not even says, I beg to offer. And he says, please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the super soul. So whatever we're going to hear and read in this chapter, it should ultimately direct us to the truth of who the individual soul is and who the supreme soul is. Okay, shall we move on to the next verse? So text number 2. Yad rupam yad adhishtanam yatha shrishtam idam prabho yat samstam yat param yat cha tat tadvam vada tat vataha. Yat, what? Rupam, the symptoms of manifestation. Yat, what? Adhishtanam, background. Yata, from where? Shrishtam, created. Idam, this world. Prabho, O Father. Yat, in which. Samstam, conserved. Yat, what? Param, under control. Yat, what are. Cha, and. Tat, of this. Tatvam, the symptoms. Vada, please describe. Tat vataha, factually. Translation. My dear Father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? Purport. The inquiries of Narada Muni on the basis of factual cause and effect appear very reasonable. The atheists, however, put forward many self-made theories without any touch of cause and effect. The manifested world, as well as the spirit soul, is still unexplained by the godless atheists through the medium of experimental knowledge, although they have put forward many theories manufactured by their fertile brains. Contrary to such mental speculative theories of creation, however, Narada Muni wanted to know all the facts of creation and truth, and not by theories. Transcendental knowledge regarding the soul and the supersoul includes knowledge of the phenomenal world and the basis of its creation. Where am I? In the phenomenal world, three things are factually observed by any intelligent man: the living beings, the manifested world, and the ultimate control over them. The intelligent man can see that neither the living entity nor the phenomenal world are creations of chance. The symmetry of creation and its regulative actions and reactions suggest the plan of an intelligent brain behind them. And by genuine inquiry, one may find out the ultimate cause with the help of one who knows them factually. So here we see in this verse 6 questions. Maybe I'll just bring them up. I sent it to myself earlier. So these are the 6 questions that Sri Narada asks. Yat Rupam. What are the characteristics of the universe? Yad Adhisthanam. What is its shelter? Yata Shrishtam. How is it created? Yat Samstam. How is it conserved? In what it merges at destruction? Yat Param. What does it depend on? And Yat Cha. What is it composed of? Its ingredients. And then you see in the final column how Brahmaji answers each of these questions in the various verses of this chapter. in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying this is intelligence. The atheists, they say everything happened by chance. Our observation of the world is that we don't get intelligence. We don't get order emanating from chaos. There's never any experience of order and intelligence emerging from chaos. But the scientists, they declare there is no intelligence behind this universe. Everything happened by chance. There was this big bang, and from this big bang, there was a pool, and from the pool, you got some proteins forming, and from proteins, you get a basic organism, and through the process of natural selection and random mutation over a very long period of time, we got life as we see and experience it now. So this is complete speculation. There's so many theories that have been put forward. It's called origin of life theories. And up till today, there is no consensus among the scientists about what is the most plausible theory. They continue to argue and debate and speculate about how the universe came to be. Now, if we examine life to its smallest element, which is DNA, we see that the DNA is nothing but very, very complex, extremely complex information. So complex the information is. And it cannot be explained how such complex information can emerge from chance. So this is not our way. One Srila Prabhupada said, maybe Darwin's ancestors were monkeys, but our ancestors were not monkeys. They were kavis, poets, munis, learned sages. And Narada, being very intelligent, he's saying there must be a supreme being behind this creation. And he's asking, how is it created? How is it conserved? Who does it depend on? And this is proper intelligence, not misdirected intelligence. So these are the questions that will be answered in this chapter. And let's go to the final verse today, which is verse number 3. Sarvam hi yatat bhavam vedha bhuta bhavya bhavat prabho karamala kavat vishvam vigyana vashtitam tava. Vashitam tava. Sarvam, all and everything, he certainly, etad, this, bhavan, your good self, veda, no, bhuta, all that is created or born, bhavya, all that will be created or born, bhavat, all that is being created, prabho, you, the master of everything, kara, amala, kavat, just like a walnut within your grip, vishvam, the universe, vigyan, avashtitam, within your knowledge scientifically, tavayo. Translation: my dear Father, all that is known to you scientifically, all of this is known to you scientifically, because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, But whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. Purport. Brahma is the direct creator of the manifested universe and everything within the universe. He therefore knows what happened in the past, what will happen in the future, and what is happening at present. Three principal items, namely the living being, the phenomenal world, and the controller, are all in continuous action, past, present, and future. And the direct manager is supposed to know everything of such actions and reactions, as one knows about a walnut within the grip of one's palm. The direct manufacturer of a particular thing is supposed to know how he learned the art of manufacturing, where he got the ingredients, how he set it up, and how the products in the manufacturing process are being turned on. Because Brahma is the first-born living being, naturally is supposed to know everything about creative functions. Just like if we create anything, for example, if we create a cake, we are supposed to know how the cake is made to be made. We meant to know how to get the ingredients. We need to know how to assemble the ingredients. We need to know how to bake the cake. So Lord Brahma, he's the secondary creator. He's responsible for all of the secondary creative processes in the material universe. So thus, he needs to know it. How can he not know? Because he's done it. So Narada is very correct by asking Brahma all of these questions. It's just like this nice example is given. Someone may give us a walnut, and we grip the walnut and we hold it in our hand. Now, because that walnut is within, so to speak, our control, we should know about the walnut. We can examine it, we can explain it, we can describe it, and we'll be in knowledge of the walnut. So this is what Narada is asking Brahmaji very nicely. And he uses a nice analogy. What is created in the past, whatever is being created currently, and what is going to be created in the future. Later on we see that Narada has some misconception that Brahma is the complete creator. And then Brahma has to explain to him, no, he's secondary creator. There's someone even above him. In his book, The God Delusion, which is one of the most famous atheistic books, Richard Dawkins argues that there can't be a creator. Why can't there be a creator? Because it automatically will raise the question, who created the creator? And if we ask the question, who created the creator, we find ourselves in an infinite regress, meaning you're just going on, who created him, and who created him, and who created him, and who created him, and who created him? Because, and he said, we get no further in our understanding about creation if we propose a creator. But if we examine his argument is weak. Firstly, it dismisses the possibility that there may be someone who is a creator. And secondly, according to the philosophy of science, we do not need to have an explanation of the explanation. That's not philosophy of science. You need an explanation for every explanation, because that only puts us in an infinite regress. Science is about giving the best, the most plausible, the most intelligent explanation for a possible phenomenon. So for Richard Dawkins, a so-called intelligent scientist, to say that the proposition of a creator is flawed because it puts us in an infinite regress is really not a very intelligent argument. And you see Narada, he is a much more intelligent scientist than Richard Dawkins, because he's basing his questions on proper philosophy of science, proper logic. And these atheists are like that. Flawed logic in everything that they propose. Okay, I stop here. Any questions, comments by anyone? Okay, let me see if there's
Now,
any.
Chandra Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. I just want to know, what did Newton would say about the creation, because he created that model of the universe, and he left it there. And when the old scientists came, he said, "How was it created?" He said, "Oh, it created itself." So he just wanted to make a point that it is created by somebody. So would he have anything that, I know he was spiritually elevated, otherwise he wouldn't do such thing like that. But would he have any idea of the creation? Or did he read any scripture for to have that, to give some, his understanding?
I'm not sure. I've not studied Newton's life. He was a theist, and he comes from the West. I assume that he followed the biblical understanding about creation, about Adam and Eve and so on. But I've not studied what was his understanding of creation.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Also, there was a time when there was a swan, and Narad Muni also asked the swan, "I thought you are the creator." Is that when Brahmaji is explaining that to Narad? There was a swan, big swan, and he came, and then Narad Muni was asking a question, and is that when he explained this?
I'm not sure, Mataji. I'm not sure. Anyone else likes to answer Palika Mataji's question? Amogalila Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And I have not seen so far. I'm also studying, so I don't know yet.
Okay, Palika Mataji will park that one as we continue our reading.
I heard in one of the Bhagavatam class some time ago
Okay.
that Narad Muni was asked his swan this question. So I thought whether it is related to the old question now. That's
I don't know, maybe I'm not so sure yet.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions, comments, reflections by anyone? All right. We'll conclude then. Thank you very much for your attendance and participation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your service. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
kripasindhubhya
sindhubhya eva cha
patitanam
patitanam pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.
Om
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Chandra.
you.
Hari Bahul.
Thank you very much. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Dandapram.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji, for very nice class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Hare Krishna.